So many things could be done now. I know that there are conflicts in the world and things like that. And since I know, you have the blue crab, for example, which is a species of the blue crab, which lives in USA, and the blue crab is able to make things like people could eat it. It destroys the ecological system, but for malnutrition against malnutrition, it can live in temperate places, in hot places, but even in cold temperate places. Also, you got other things like you got someone called Eduardo Katz. Eduardo Katz, that he made an artistic thing, an artistic invention. And that guy that created an artistic invention, like he has put his DNA inside some plants, and like we could say, for against malnutrition, that thing could. The Hinduists could be against it, or they could never eat plants, but plants that were not comestible at the beginning. Like you put in proteins, and inside those proteins, like boosted proteins, and nutriments, concentrated nutriments, and the concentrated nutriments could make things like it could help against malnutrition, even for plants that could not be vegetables or things like that, even wild plants, plants that are cheap, that grow naturally in places, and Plentimal could help against malnutrition, even in hard times. Also, you got other things, like you got, for example, radio teachings for people that do not have people that do not have ways or enough money to buy computers or to buy numerical machines in isolated places. Like they could get culture courses, they could get basic education courses, all kinds of online teachings, even in popular ways of talking, for that they could understand better in popular languages, dialects, even for high culture too. And they not need a phone to. They just it's just radio programs that could help with that. Also, you got other things like you got the organoids inside for the body organs. For the body organs, the organoids that are things like the organoids that are grown in laboratories. They can grow human organs on animals, like in Japan or like in USA. They've made grow I think something like an ear on the back of a mouse, and themselves they even can do that for organoids. They're not able to make grow fully completely organs, body organs. They're not able to make them grow fully completely inside the laboratories, but variable is still able. It could lengthen the lifespan. Lifespan could be lengthened, or even like something like not only lifespan, but things like even for illnesses. And you got CRISP, something called CRISP, against genetical illnesses, and so you got, for example, like they're cutting the DNA. They're not fully sure of what they're going to create. But like for genetical DNA, Like they could do something like someone with genetical illnesses, or even before before the person person grows against the illnesses, people that got hereditary problems, and also they could one day they could master the stem cells, the brain stem cells. Like even someone already ill, we could make develop his brain even more, or things like genetic illnesses, all kinds of things like that, all kind of brain illnesses like stem cells, brain stem cells, because it proliferates. The brain stem cells are able to do that, but they proliferate, and when it proliferates, it makes already tumors, very fastly tumors. Like you got other things, and so many things it could, organize for lifespan, for ways of keeping a few youth for not degrading through age and all that. And you got many things like you got even for example, you got for animals like. They could vaccinate the animals. They could make vaccines for animals to bear pollution, and some people are about to be able to cut the molecule of carbon, or to solidify carbon, and they're not already able to destroy the carbon molecule out of carbon, which pollutes so much. But they could cut the carbon molecule, modify it for that it could not harm that much the earth, or they could even solidify it. In all those times of crisis, of course, this makes oil still makes money. Things linked to oil and things linked to other things still makes lots of economical benefits. But you still got things like you got, for example, we could be able through pollution elements. With the pollution elements, we could extract from pollution elements, from carbon and all that. We could extract out of pollution dirt some oil already, if we don't have enough energy. Even it pollutes a lot. They with some the rubbish. They can with rubbish pollutes a lot, but we're able with it to make energy. But now they could find other ways, not polluting as much, to recycle the rubbish as energy, and it could make an incredible amount, a real incredible amount of energy. You know, with electricity, of course, this could pollute with electricity, but anyways, you got other things like for example, what else? What other things we could do? Like you got boosted capacity of carbon, and boosted capacity of pollution elements absorption by modified vegetation, modified plants, modified vegetation. You got also things like people like that we could find a way. Now we found some ways that we could extract oil. We can extract oil with chemical ways. Extract oil out of natural elements, and out of chemical elements we can extract the oil. And can you imagine if they're one day, if they're able with doctors, with science and medical ways, if we could be able to extract things like oil and tobacco, things linked to oil, a few in tobacco, out of lungs of people. Can you imagine the thing? If they're one day even able to do that, that's incredible. That could be an incredible thing. An incredible thing. So you got other things like could be other things. There could be other things. So many things. Like we could put nutriments like the thing of Plentimal, but we could boost nutriments. We could boost modified vegetables, but nutriments. We could boost the nutrition power inside the vegetables or the plants or the fruits, or people could be and even proteins, or still once again proteins, but inside vegetables. That we could do that for any kind of plant that were not comestible at the beginning, but a kind of difficult first. There could be other things. There could be other things we could do, like yes, yes, yes. Of course, absolutely. And you got ways. We always had things against. We could reduce the violence, conflicts inside the world, or in some dangerous regions of the world. Like you get molecules, chemical molecules that are made for that, and we could do that. For example, for we could do that for inside fruits, inside food, inside meat, anything. We could do that inside vegetables, anything. And this could reduce, just like the crisp molecules could reduce problems like social problems, harming people and things like that too. For people that are kind of too weak, or that get physicals that can get attacked by others, you got other ways, like you got like it did not disform the face, but people could get stronger and taller and to defend themselves and things like that too. Also, you got things like for example, we can see through walls. There are machines that got capacities to see through walls and to detect through walls people with Wi-Fi, with machines and all that. Like if someone ever disappears or things like that, we could get some things like it's not taser, because taser made so many troubles and things like that. But you got like old people, like aged people, when they are into trouble, when they get a cardiac attack, for example, when they get a stroke, they get a thing around their neck, like they just a beep, they push on a button if they ever feel bad and they fall. And so this could be a way, and even to the contact, if there is a violent contact, strong contact against someone, like if someone is in a dangerous place, or if someone gets aggressed, and you could get things like electrical reaction to protect the person. Like, it's not against it's not against weapons, but electrical shock. For people, the person could get like some kind of defense subject. And you get also things like you also get things like there are so many cameras everywhere in Paris, everywhere in places, in cities, everywhere. But like detecting objects, materials, anything. you know and water is a way, like the old castles of Middle Age, a way for could be no attack or things like that. But now just detecting material or a dangerous subject, like get some ways of defense and things like that too. Again, once again, like you get, for example, the cars. If a cars go fast. If a car goes too fast, like they get on the road. You could get on the road some ways of protecting. Of defense thing from the ground, going from the ground, like airbag. I think like airbag, a few against fire, products against fire, airbag, I think like that, a few. um, or if the vehicle is really getting dangerous and hurting too many persons. Like we could do things like isolate the vehicle. We could isolate the vehicle, and we also can do that. Could also do things like that too. It would be interesting, even for cars and bikes on the road, like systems of airbag, but outside the vehicle, and also against fire. Like against the fire and things like that too. Even through the atmosphere, we could molecule as use the molecule as against violence and against aggressivity inside the clouds and inside the atmosphere. For there could be less violence in some special places. You still got a lot of psychological ways to influence in a positive way people, to educate in a positive way people, and I could see their interest to things like that. It may not like dictator, but it could be things for democracies too. You got the extinction that could you got against hereditary disease, against consanguinity for minorities disappearing. You got also things against consanguinity, and you got things against hereditary disease, against all kinds of diseases with CRISP, the CRISP genetical project. But you get also, like thing like for that people could even the things like stem cells and all those things like could get not in a physical way but as a way of laboratory, like they could make increase some people extincting or even for all kinds of living. You got ways to make freeze and to lower the temperature, inside the ocean for the corals, and we have used chemical for cleaning the pollution elements, cleaning the nature from pollution elements inside the ground, into the sea, even in the air. And about the atmosphere, this would be a great thing, able to erase the pollution elements, or just like the thing of cutting the carbon molecule, things like that. And so against hereditary disease, against consanguinity, of course, this is for humans especially, but even for other livings, other creatures, other livings in the world, on the earth. But you haven't got on the earth, you got. But even for about the animals that are extincting, so many animals are extincting, and so many vegetation and corals and all kinds of things like that. And we could make great things like the extinction too, but it's still costful. It's a lot costful. Time is going fast, so we could help for all those kinds of things, anyways.